Hi there and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. TalkSPORT pundit urges 25-year-old to force his way out of Arsenal right now. Dean Saunders has suggested that Aaron Ramsdale will be able to force his way out of Arsenal in the January transfer window. Aaron Ramsdale is one member of the Arsenal squad with a question mark hanging over his future heading into next month. Ramsdale is open to joining in Newcastle, but with Arsenal fighting for the Premier League title once again, Mikel Arteta will have little desire to let him go. Certainly, Jamie O'Hara does not see Arsenal allowing Ramsdale to move, but speaking on TalkSPORT, Dean Saunders insisted that the goalkeeper will get the move if he makes enough of a fuss. He said, "He's got to leave. He can't sit there with his snood on every week, looking as if he has just got a £3,000 gas bill. It's not being fair, but football at the highest level is ruthless, and you need two teams. Arsenal need two teams of good players to win the league, and as a goalkeeper, there is only one position you can play. You have to sit there and swallow it, but they are queuing up for him. If I was him, I would say, thanks very much, this is not for me." Let me tell you now, Arteta is not going to get rid of Ramsdale in a season where they can win the title because they only need one injury and then they are screwed, O'Hara replied. "When you played, that was the rules, but now players do what they want. If he wants to leave, watch what happens. If he makes the decision I'm leaving to watch what happens, he will just rock the boat." Ramsdale will surely have no plans to force through a move. He is loved by the Arsenal fans. Doing anything which could potentially derail their title push would jeopardize that. Ultimately, the worst case scenario would involve Ramsdale pushing to leave, only to end the window still at the Emirates. That's going to do no one any favors. TalkSPORT pundit claims 22-year-old Arsenal player is nowhere near his best. Speaking on TalkSPORT this morning, Dean Saunders was quite concerned about one of Mikel Arteta's Arsenal forwards this season. Saunders thought teams had now worked out how to defend against Gabriel Martinelli in a similar fashion to Bukayo Saka. Saunders said, "I've got a sneaky feeling they are going to win the league. I like the look of them. They have changed Xhaka for Havertz, he changed the goalkeeper and will probably spend again now. If you look at the performances of the players 6 months on from nearly winning the league last year, I would say Saka is finding it more difficult than he did last season. Teams are working it out. Don't let him come inside. Martinelli is struggling at times because people are watching him every week. Jesus is just world class for me, but there is obviously a finger being pointed at him whether he gets enough goals. Eddie has done well. Declan Rice, Rolls-Royce has made a difference. Odegaard is a genius." Of course, this criticism or observation is in the context of Arsenal's now very high standards. In another breath, Saunders would probably still point out that Martinelli is a brilliant player, just one going through a period of adaptation. That being said, it's not impossible to think Martinelli may be on the bench for Arsenal tonight. Leandro Trossard hasn't had a lot of Arsenal opportunities under Mikel Arteta this season and could be given the nod. Similarly, Emil Smith-Rowe could earn a surprise recall to the 11. It's certainly not a game that Arsenal will take lightly. However, changes do make sense given how congested the schedule has become. It would be very harsh to suggest that Martinelli deserves to be dropped. He is still one of Arsenal's most important players. However, there is merit to Saunders' words. The winger is having a rare tough period, but as he showed at Anfield, Martinelli can still offer this Arsenal side so much this season, even when not among the goals. Kevin Campbell says Arsenal should sell £60 million player to get Ivan Toney instead in ruthless move. Former Arsenal striker Kevin Campbell has now shared his thoughts on Mikel Arteta's squad heading into the January transfer window. It's a delicate situation for the Gunners. Do they rock the boat with a big mid-season arrival, or do Arsenal trust their current playing staff to achieve their lofty ambitions this season and races in the summer? It's not an easy call, but Kevin Campbell has certainly made up his mind. Speaking on TalkSPORT with Dean Saunders this morning, Campbell was convinced that Arteta needed to free up some funds for his Arsenal squad in January, and that involved selling the beloved Emil Smith-Rowe, a player who could incidentally start for Arsenal tonight. Initially, Saunders said, Smith-Rowe isn't getting a sniff, is he? They could use that as a vehicle to get under the financial fair play situation. Campbell replied, there are some tradable pieces. You don't want to see the Smith-Rowe leave the club. A young player coming through the ranks, but if you are going for a title, you have to be ruthless. If you can move and shake a couple of players and then create an opportunity to get someone like Toney, that's what you have got to do. Of course, the sale of Smith-Rowe may not even be enough to reach a deal for Ivan Toney in January. A £60 million asking price for Smith-Rowe has previously been mentioned. However, the brand for the striker could cost a lot more, and with a defensive addition perhaps seen as the priority for Arsenal next month, a deal for a striker may have to wait. As much as it's hard to stomach for Arsenal fans, Campbell's idea that Arteta could free up funds with Smith-Rowe's sale is probably spot on. The same situation applies to Aaron Ramsdale. Fans will never enjoy seeing their favourites leave. Mikel Arteta says he was so desperate to sign 24-year-old player for Arsenal. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta has admitted that he was desperate to sign Declan Rice in the summer. The Gunners have the chance to return to the top of the table tonight. They face West Ham United, and all eyes will be on Rice, who takes on his old club for the first time in the Premier League since he left them in the summer. Arsenal signed Declan Rice in the summer for a club record fee. The Gunners had him at the top of their wish list for months before the transfer window opened, and they pushed hard in the summer to get the deal done. Rice, since joining Arsenal, has been unbelievable. He has arguably been the best player in the Premier League, and Mikel Arteta is a happy man to have him in his squad. In his press conference ahead of tonight's game, Arteta was asked about Rice, and the Arsenal boss admitted that he was desperate to sign him in the summer. Arteta said, as relied on Highter's TV, I love his presence on the pitch. He is there and he's got something special. I felt it when I played against him. That's why I was mad to sign him. You get a feeling about the players, and I wanted him to be part of our team. You can't praise Arsenal without acknowledging the performances of Declan Rice this season. The 24-year-old Englishman was one of the biggest transfers of the summer, and even though there were a few eyebrows raised at his price tag, nobody ever doubted that he would be a success. Rice has been magnificent for the Gunners. He is yet to have a bad game for Arsenal, and his presence in the middle of the park is helping them dominate almost every single game. There is still a long way to go in the season for Arsenal, but up until this moment, Rice has undoubtedly been their best player. Newcastle confident they can beat Arsenal to unbelievable midfield target. Newcastle United and Arsenal have both been linked with Manchester City's Calvin Phillips in recent months. The Magpies could certainly do with bolstering their midfield ranks in the January transfer window amid Sandro Tonali's suspension. Likewise, the Gunners could do with reinforcement in the middle of the park. Thomas Partey's injury issues are concerning, while the jury remains out on Fabio Vieira. According to Tutto Juve in November, Arsenal want to bring Phillips in as a potential replacement for Partey. Now, the Telegraph has issued an update involving Newcastle and Phillips, a player they apparently tried to sign in the summer. The outlet claims that the Magpies would like to open talks with the citizens and with their player as soon as possible. Newcastle also reportedly feel confident that they can thrash out a deal over Phillips, who is currently out of favour at the Etihad Stadium. The Magpies apparently looked into signing the England international in the summer, only to be told he wanted to stay at City and fight for his place. However, Phillips has not started a Premier League game this season and has only made 4 substitute appearances in the league. In addition, Pep Guardiola has previously left the door open on the prospect of the £45 million man leaving in 2024. Newcastle will be mindful of profit and sustainability rules, so they will apparently be mainly looking at loan deals. City's willingness to listen to offers for Phillips makes him an attractive target. The James Park outfit will reportedly be up against the likes of Juventus, Everton, and the Crystal Palace in pursuit of Phillips. The player himself apparently also wants to be reassured that he will get plenty of minutes on the pitch to increase his chances of playing for England at Euro 2024 next summer. Newcastle signing Phillips seems like a no-brainer. The Magpies needs to strengthen their defensive ranks, while the 28-year-old needs regular game time if he is to make England's Euro 2024 squad. Phillips is an unbelievable player who did amazingly well at Leeds, earning himself a big money move to England's strongest team over the past few seasons. Let's see what happens in the coming weeks and who Phillips will join in the end. Arsenal have just flown out scouts to watch 22-year-old striker with incredible energy. Arsenal have been linked with the likes of Victor Osimhen and Ivan Toney in the past, strikers who would arrive with an intention to start games. However, it now seems that Arsenal are exploring some targets that can simply improve the department as a whole, players with untapped potential, and according to Moroccan outlet Le 360 Sport, Arsenal are now closely monitoring Stade Rennais striker Ibrahim Salah. The report says that Arsenal have now flown scouts to France to watch Salah, who also has interest from Lille and Valencia among other clubs. Salah currently has 6 goals in his 16 appearances for Rennes this season, with 3 of those goals coming in League One. Of course, the 22-year-old would represent a long-term signing for Mikel Arteta and Arsenal, a striker who seems unlikely to make an immediate difference. But with patience, the club may hope that the versatile forward could provide competition centrally and in wide areas. And although Salah might not be the typical answer to Arsenal's striker pursuit, he could be a very interesting option for Arteta. Perhaps if Arsenal did decide to chase a deal, it would be in addition to a big name arriving next summer, someone who could shoulder much of the burden whilst Salah developed. However, given the levels he is shown in League One and the Europa League this season, he could be ready to contribute for a top side fairly soon. Arsenal coaching staff admire £68 million Bundesliga star. January move difficult. Arsenal are looking to bring in defensive reinforcement, and Bayern Munich defender Matthias de Ligt has been mentioned as a potential target. A report from The Athletic claims that Mikel Arteta's coaching staff admire the 24-year-old Dutch international, but a January move seems unlikely. De Ligt was regarded as one of the best young defenders in world football before he moved to Juventus. However, he had a mixed spell at the Italian club and he joined Bayern München in the summer of 2022 for £68 million. The Dutchman is still only 24 and he has plenty of time to fulfill his world-class potential. There is no doubt that he would be a quality acquisition for the Gunners. It will be interesting to see if Arsenal decide to try their luck and make a move for the Dutchman next month. Summer signing Jurriën Timber picked up a cruciate ligament injury on his Premier League debut and he is sidelined for a significant period. In addition to that, Takahiro Tomiyasu is injured as well and he is set to miss a few weeks due to the AFC Asian Cup. Arsenal need defensive reinforcement right now and a quality signing like De Ligt could improve them immensely during the second half of the campaign. They will be hoping to fight for the league title. and they need to plug the gaps in their squad in order to go all the way. Meanwhile, the German champions are having an impressive season and they will want to win major trophies. They will not want to part ways with a quality player like De Ligt midway through the season. Any move for the Dutch international might have to wait until the summer. Arsenal keeping tabs on a 24-year-old German international amid injury woes. Arsenal are reportedly keeping tabs on the Borussia Dortmund defender Nico Schlotterberg. The 24-year-old has established himself as a key player for Dortmund since joining the club in the summer of 2022, and his performances have attracted the attention of the London club. A report from The Athletic claims that Arsenal are looking at several central defenders and the German international is on their radar. It will be interesting to see if the Gunners decide to make a move for him in January. Takahiro Tomiyasu and Jurriën Timber are currently sidelined with injuries, and Arsenal could certainly use defensive reinforcement. However, the 24-year-old is a key player for Dortmund, and they will not want to lose midway through the season. Schlotterberg is versatile enough to operate as a central defender as well as a left back. He could prove to be a quality long-term acquisition for the Gunners, and his versatility will be an added bonus. The opportunity to play in the Premier League can be an attractive proposition for the defender, and Arsenal are one of the biggest clubs in the world. The North London outfit certainly have the finances to tempt Dortmund into selling the player as well. Schlotterberg has a contract with the club until the summer of 2027, and he is unlikely to be a cheap acquisition. Dortmund will demand a premium for the player if Arsenal come calling, and it remains to be seen whether the Gunners are prepared to pay up. As we wrap up today's Arsenal news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.